Funky with it. Down with it.
One of
Grounding on
these
the couch
days,
for this.
we're gonna get copyright struck for this song, and I won't complain about it.
And all the old episodes go down. Hey y'all, welcome to the Vibe is Spoken Survivor After Show, where we finally get to review a good season.
Okay,
I'm
we
Adelaide.
were reviewing season 45.
The season became good today, which is wild because I fucking hate this twist. But Cameron.
Hi, that's me. Adelaide.
Cameron. Oh, damn it. Yeah, I'm gonna move to the couch, like I just said. But this was a really fucking great episode today, in my opinion. Not great. It was very good. I'm happy.
Yeah, we both going through this have been very mixed to negative on this season so far. And this week it just kind of turned completely around to where like this was kind of a great episode, all things considered. Like, yeah, we both are in agreement that like the split at 12 into two groups of 6 is kind of dumb, but like other than that, I have no real complaints about this episode.
I want to clarify something. I don't mind a demerge. Also, I don't know. You're not connected anymore. Our friend Sarah in an org just did a double tribal. That was technically a demerge. I ran, and I think it's handled better. My issue is the fact that basically, and we're gonna get this. This is a spoiler show. Sorry, spoilers early. The difference between Tim and Soda on the jury is out of their hands. That's what frustrates me.
Yeah, that's fair. But it's the new era. There's nowhere to hide when there's 6 people.
Anyone can have a shot in the dark or an idol.
There's no better time to make a move at 6 because there's nowhere to hide, as Jeff said. And a large conversation was had in my home about why did he say that? Why is 6 so important? And the answer I came up with was, oh, well, the reason 6 is so important, 6 is the perfect time to make a move and there's nowhere to hide, is because there's 6 people at Tribal at the time that he said it.
There's not several people there. It's only 6.
You know, if there were 5 people at Tribal, 5 is the perfect time to make a move. There's nowhere to hide. But there were 6, so 6 is the number.
The episode
The thing is, like, I'm being snarky and sarcastic, but also that's true. That's really the truth of it.
The episode starts, and we already get to discuss great strategy. And by great, I mean really weird. Where Venus is, like, going at Soda's throat. I know you voted for me. It's fine. I wanted to work with you, but now actually I don't need to. And Troy's like, hey, actually I did. And then Q berates him for it.
It really seemed at the start of this episode like we were just going to keep going down this same train of negativity we've been going for so long on this season. But also it's like we get some nice drama of like Venus clearly thinks that it's Soda. And then I really loved Soda having the worst possible explanation of, oh, it was probably Mo. Mo very publicly, knowably didn't vote last week. She played her shot in the dark and couldn't have voted. So, like, all that was needed to pin it on Soda was given. And then
anybody else. Literally anybody else.
Well, then, Charlie comes out and says it, which is a choice that he can make. It's definitely not the best move, but I do get it just from like a personal stop the drama standpoint.
Brittany S. Pierce came in.
And then yeah, Q. Okay, this was a discussion, and we could get to this more later, but I think I finally get Q as a player. I think I finally get it. And the best way I can describe Q as a player is Q is trying to be the Godfather. Q is trying to be Boston Rob.
He literally,
he does not have the reads on the game or the charisma to do it. Like, he's trying to take the rule by fear position, but he is completely unable to make the moves that actually make that strategy effective on his own.
I think I disagree with the charisma. I think he does have the charisma. I think the bigger issue, and it might even just be game structure, is the fact that he does not have the means to form strong new social relationships.
That's fair.
The reason that Rob did so well in the 2 seasons he went to FTC on is because there were 2 tribes that he was able to get in with. I think when it's down to 3, and especially there's no swaps, it's so much harder to be insulated. He'd be doing better if he was on Sega, sure. But I still don't think he has it because there is that lack of connection.
Sorry, although I will push back on that. All Stars had 3 tribes.
Oh, did it? I forgot about that.
All Stars was the first ever 3-tribe season.
Oh.
Because they couldn't get 20 All Stars.
That's right.
I mean, to be fair, if you look at the cast of 18, they couldn't get 18, frankly.
They got 15.
And the winner of the season was one of the other 3.
The top 3 placers were not in the 15.
Honestly, yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much. But that's for whenever this series needs off-season things, and we go and start doing retrospectives of previous seasons. But yeah, other than that, like pre-challenge, I don't really remember there being a ton of other stuff going on.
It was legitimately like 10, maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was short.
Yeah, they really just woke up and did the challenge. Challenge, I won't say it's like one of my all-time favorite challenges, but I think it's a breath of fresh air that we're getting it in the new era. I know it happened in 42; they showed that, but I think you mentioned it a couple episodes ago, where we don't really get straight up endurance challenges anymore, and this is a good one.
Yeah, like for endurance challenges, like the only one I can confidently remember like from the past couple seasons is when they brought back Last Gasp.
Yeah.
And even then, like, that's a very wonky take on an endurance challenge.
Did they bring back the fingertip plates?
Yeah, they did. They did that because it was the Bruce and Julie were doing
That's
it, but that was
right.
like the 3rd part of a 3-part challenge.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, like it's refreshing. Also, I forgot that this challenge happened in 42, and then they showed the clip, and I was like, right, the challenge where like it was absolutely insane because they were like, here's a super easy endurance balance challenge, but the ocean is trying to kill all of you.
I need to
And so
rewatch
then this one,
42.
it's just like super calm, super peaceful, and it was like, yeah, well, cool, that makes sense.
So, I was gonna pull that up. If I freeze, my computer's been a piece of shit, so I might just freeze doing all this.
Yep, you're good.
Okay.
Do you want the groups? Because I do have the groups pulled up.
I was about to pull up the group, so yeah, that'd be great.
All right, yeah. So we had Ben, Hunter, Kenzie, Q, Tiffany, and Tim.
Right.
As group 1, and then we had Charlie, Liz, Maria, Soda, Tevin, and Venus as the other one, which I didn't realize it at the time until they pointed it out later. But like everyone on the Ben, Hunter, Kenzie, Q, like all 6 of that group of the group that lost and went to Old Sega were on the same team for the Burgatory thing, or Tiffany placed the bet and won on them.
Wow. I didn't fucking realize
They
that.
were all on the same. The only person who wasn't with like a group of the exact same people was Tevin got switched over. That's the only person. Otherwise, everyone was with someone they were with for the first challenge.
Yeah.
Which that's just kind of interesting thing. They talk about it a little bit at Tribal. It gives no bearing to anything that happens, but it's just an interesting thing.
Yeah.
And then all 3 Yanu end up on one group.
They got so lucky twice in a row, which I think honestly changes the whole season if they don't.
Yeah.
Like I think if Q is the minority, he absolutely goes home.
It's
Kenzie and Tiffany, I don't know because I think they have a better social game.
Oh yeah, no. Q is a very um it's a very
Physical
dominant
player.
personality.
Yeah.
And again that gets touched on quite a bit
Yeah.
later on in this episode.
I feel like we can only really get into the two dynamics. So the Q, Tiffany, Kenzie, Tim, Ben, Hunter.
So Kenzie
It's
wins immunity.
yeah, which we all knew last week.
We did?
It was shown in the episode preview when they're like that group walking to tribal and you see her necklace. Yeah,
I didn't notice that. So
we talked about it in the Chorus Horrors chat. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah.
Sure. You know I'm fairly active in that group chat.
Yeah, it was unfortunately a little stale, in my opinion. At least compared to the other tribal, where it's like, God, who's gonna go home? The guy with an idol, the one who has such a dominant social edit, he's probably gonna be around to like final 6, or the guy who has no edit.
Yeah, it really is. But to be fair, like they do a good job of setting up that like it could kind of go anywhere from a like this episode only storytelling standpoint where like
Yeah,
you could see any of the three of them going and it would make sense. But I think the big thing that kind of spelled, if we're just gonna jump straight to the end, we might as well with this.
Oh wait, no, we fucking forgot one of the pre-challenge things.
Oh.
Kenzie and Ben.
Oh yeah, that was such a sweet nice
really
moment.
great scene.
Yeah, just a really nice like human moment.
Yeah.
And it's refreshing to see like things like that on the show. Like it's nice to get reminders that there are people. Fun fact about people having panic attacks. Deal or No Deal Island.
End of the show. End of the show.
No, hear me out. Deal or No Deal Island. If you're not watching it, I need people to start. If you're watching the show and you have never seen or never even heard of the fact that Deal or No Deal Island is a show, I beg of you to watch Deal or No Deal Island. Because, like, for the first 5 episodes, the main villain of the show you would think is Boston Rob, and you'd be wrong. For the first 5 episodes, the main villain of the show is a 60-something-year-old woman named Kim, who is clearly the physically weakest person there, but she's responsible for like most of the drama. And she goes, and like once she was gone, the last week's episode, we were like, this is kind of boring. Now that she's gone, there's not really a ton of conflict. And then this episode fucking popped off. It went insane. Where like there's a big alliance being made. One of the people of the big alliance is in the bottom 2, where if you win in the bottom 2, you get to send home anybody you want. And the girl wins, and she sends home the person who I thought was far and away the front runner to win the season based on an editing standpoint, because she was one of the 3 people whose names I confidently know. And one of
Boston Rob's still on the show. Okay, he lives.
But wait, there's more. So this girl Alyssa, she gets eliminated. She gets sent home. I don't care if I'm spoiling it. You need to watch this. And she gets sent home, and this girl Stephanie, who is the one who votes, eliminates her, whatever. After Alyssa's gone, Stephanie just keeps bad mouthing and shit talking Alyssa to the point where this dude Aaron is like sweet little scrawny nerdy boy, so out of place, and like was very close friends with Alyssa, starts breaking down, gets up, walks off the set of the final thing, and the episode ends, and we don't know what's gonna happen. Deal or No Deal Island is delivering legitimate high quality reality television drama, and I don't know how to feel about it.
So Kenzie and Ben have a really sweet moment.
It's over.
Which I do think honestly saves Ben's ass, because as much as Q is shown like running the vote or whatever, Kenzie seemed like very visibly upset at the idea of losing Ben, at Tribal Council. I think if they didn't have that moment, he probably would have been cut. But I do like, and I think it's less likely to be cut content. But it did make me question if he was going to go home. Tim had content at the challenge that I really enjoyed, where because it was so boring, they were just talking, and he had like a nice like character moment talking with Jeff, and I was like, oh yeah, Tim is like a person here. He's not a background character who's going to go home pre-merge and get like 3 confessionals. This is an Australian Survivor.
It's true. Where a person makes it 13 episodes and gets 1 confessional in their boot episode. I wish that was a made up statistic. But that's a true fact. But yeah, like I thought the challenge was very entertaining. For like endurance challenges can often be very boring. Like because you're just like
you've gone on for so long. It's like, incredible.
One endurance challenge I can remember that is highly entertaining, and that's the David versus Goliath. Do you know what a macaron is, Jeff?
Have you ever heard of a Reuben sandwich?
Like that's good. And this like while not reaching that high because you don't have a Christian Hubicki level person on this season, it gives off similar vibe where like the whole segment of Q trying to get them to play the alphabet game and it just utterly failing was really funny, where he's just so frustrated with everybody.
Can we have a trivia team named, have you ever heard of a Reuben sandwich?
Oh. No. But truly, like, lots of fun being had the challenge, lots of nice moments, like Tim bringing entertainment, which is a thing that I didn't really think he could do this season. Yeah, I thought it was a really good challenge. And then we get Kenzie and Maria winning. And then we split off into groups.
Yeah. We went through the one. It's like it's boring. I think while it's happening, it's like good TV. But I think it's a predictable Tim boot. And then we go to the other tribe.
I sat for the entire episode going, are we gonna somehow end up with a 3-2-1 vote here?
Venus, Mother, Queen, almost pulled a Cirie because she expected so little of Liz, who is the only person not in danger that day.
I mean, Maria.
Well, I'll be honest, I think it'd be more likely for Maria to give her necklace to fucking Charlie than it would have been for Liz to be seen as a threat. Because Venus is just like,
what? I
so
actually, in theory, I don't disagree with the sentiment behind that statement.
Because Venus really just said, Liz is so dumb. If I tell her a name, she'll vote it, which is delusional, but it's funny as fuck.
it's dude, and truly, like, I think Charlie had one of the quotes of the episode where he says, like, there aren't cracks between the members of NAMI. There is an ocean between continents between the members of NAMI. Like going into it, look at the dynamics. Like, yeah, Venus hates Soda. Soda hates Venus. Tevin hates Venus and Soda, kind of. Venus hates Charlie. Charlie and Maria are cool. Liz hates Venus, or not Venus. Liz hates Soda, apparently.
It's like, okay, the fucking weird thing to me is the Venus Charlie dynamic of it all. Because last episode, Venus threw Charlie out. She backed up. Charlie voted for her. Okay, there's some conflict there. Venus says we could go Soda. Okay, but actually, if I want to make a big move, I have to go for Tevin. Soda would never do it, so I have to approach Charlie. Charlie, do you want to vote Tevin? What the fuck do you mean? Why can't we vote Soda? Leaves. And then there's the fucking Maria of it all. And then Venus comes back to Charlie and is like, yeah, I couldn't find the votes. So I'm going to vote for you, player shot in the dark, but don't vote for me. It's like, what are you fucking doing?
It like truly an insanely fluid and dynamic 6-person tribal where there were 3 viable targets, and the person who seemed the most clearly positioned on the bottom as the target was able to convince everyone to go after each other and float through the middle scot-free.
Genuinely, I will say the other group, that is a split tribal. This group feels like a final 6. Like, that is the level of drastic, aggressive gameplay that we saw from everybody besides Liz, who just sat there.
Like, my favorite, a really small moment that I really like is Tevin bringing up the plan to Liz, where he's like, maybe we go for soda. And Liz just gets this little smirk on her face, and she's like, yeah. It's like, oh, yeah. Like, all right. And then Tevin doesn't vote for Venus. Or votes for Venus, doesn't vote for soda.
But when Tevin pitched a soda plan, here's the thing. Like, I was not totally shocked that it was Liz instead of Tevin. Because I think Tevin fucking hates Venus. We hate when the gays turn on each other. But he pitched a soda plan. Why the fuck do you not even try?
Yeah, it's a very weird situation. Like, at the end of the day, he pitched the soda plan, and the soda plan worked. And, like, he got no credit for it from Soda. Like, Venus got all of the credit from Soda for thing of it. And, like, I've seen people already talking about, like, Venus taking the credit for it is an insane move. We're like, no, based on what we see in the edit, Venus thinks she's responsible for this. Because Venus pitches it without knowing that it's a pitch going on out in the world already, and then it happens. And so Venus thinks, yeah, I put that out in the world, and it happened, and it worked, and it was great. When in reality, that was already the plan before she said it, and she just happened to pitch the plan that was happening. And so she thinks that she's responsible for it, and you get the great moment of Soda being like, wow, Venus, like, this is amazing. And then Tevin just in there goes, no. And you get the subtitle, no. Like, she had nothing to do with this. Why are you giving her credit?
I just know the Venus boot episode is going to be so fucking dirty and nasty. Because it's the Twitter, it's the Jeff saying no more villains on Survivor. I just have a feeling that there's going to be such an aggressive reality check that someone's going to fucking lose an ear.
And like he keeps saying no more villains. I could at least 3 people currently left in the game fall into a villain archetype. At least 3. Like, I'm sorry, but if you're watching the season, go, oh, Q's a villain. Venus
is a villain.
Based off of the history, falls into the villain camp. Tevin, arguably a villain.
Yeah.
Like, Jem could have been a villain.
Oh, she absolutely wasn't. In her boot episode, she was OTT and like, but we were also dangerously close to approaching a Tika 3 situation.
Yeah,
because
sorry, go.
Well, and I was like, you also, I have to go grab laundry here in a minute, so I want to say something about that real quick. Because we're at the point of, like, yes, they want Q out, whatever, but at the same time, you have Siga, who's a target because they're so friendly with each other and are so clearly endgame with each other that they won't want to turn on each other, and then Nami fucking hate each other, and Tevin and Venus are going to fucking kill each other, and Liz is doing nothing. Like, I think we have too many goats at this point. Because I think Venus won't be respected. I think that Liz is dead in the water. Q probably won't get any votes. And then in Siga, Charlie Maria, and Ben, I guess they're all good. I think we're just at a point. Honestly, I think Tiffany probably wins. We should do like a winners thing at the end of this. Tiffany is in such a fucking great position. And I gotta go into this more after I get laundry from upstairs. Your turn. Also, maybe Jill or no deal. I'm sorry. We'll talk more about it.
I think Tiffany is in a very good spot. I think Tiffany's in a good position. She's definitely like going super under the radar. But yeah, we're in the awkward position, or not the awkward position, but like we're in the annoying similar position that we've seen before of we've got a group of three people from a purple tribe who come into the merge together and manage to skate through in the middle by being the group with the lowest number of people, and that lowers their threat level, and they dismantle both sides by breaking them and turning them against each other, which, to be fair, I think I will like more this season because the players this season are a lot messier, and so it will be a lot more entertaining to watch than 44, which frankly had a very boring post merge, where also like a lot of the really likable, rootable characters got taken out early, and then you're kind of just stuck there with Jam Jam, Carolyn, and a Thief, and watching them run the game. Um, but a friend of me and Adelaide's pointed out that, and this may not have been intentional, but Q does a thing that, if it's right, if it's intentional, is kind of a really great subtle move of giving all the praise to Kenzie, piling it on to her, and being like, hey, she did a great job. She won immunity. She's doing great. And making it all about her, putting the spotlight on her, putting the focus on her, and bringing it away from himself, which I think is a really good, subtle, and sneaky move from him. Um, but yeah, it's awkward to talk about this show while Adelaide's gone. So Deal or No Deal Island. It truly is the most confusing format on television right now. It doesn't make any sense. And at this point, we're at the final 7. I don't know who half the people on the cast are because the editing is so unbelievably lopsided. And the person who got like the biggest edit outside of Boston Rob got taken out in 8th place. And now I'm sitting here like, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know what to believe. I don't know who to care about. And so I'm really sitting here thinking that we live in a world where Boston Rob is going to somehow win Deal or No Deal Island. To be fair, the man is winning immunity basically every single week, and it's going very well for him. But it's like I truly don't know who to think is going to win Deal or No Deal Island except for Boston Rob.
Is that what I missed?
To be fair, I did talk a little bit about the tribal. I talked about the thing that Albert pointed out of like Q very subtly throwing Kenzie out in front by just like praising her for being really good at the challenge and kind of like painting a bit more of a target on her back at the tribal.
And either great or fucking terrible, and I don't know what he's doing.
If it was intentional, I think it's really smart.
Good move. Yeah.
If it was unintentional,
Jesus
Christ, I think it will still work out for him. But yeah. Anything else we missed? Hunter was like, I might play my idol, and then he didn't, which I definitely thought he was going to, but wasn't going to need it. But he had the right read, which that was good for him. Maria was there. Also, we like didn't even touch upon this. There was so much talk about the 6, the group of 6 cross tribal alliance. Everyone brings in their duo thing, which like, and Maria was like, yeah, we got the 6 alliance. And wasn't the whole thing last week that Tim never actually really clear with Maria?
Tim's the problem in it. He fucked it up, and then Q targeted him, and now it's all gone.
Yeah. But we'll see what that alliance is looking like next week. But for now, it's not looking the most solid, given that they took out one of their own members. But you never know. You never know what's going to happen. What?
Well, just the preview for next week looks fucking messy.
Oh, we love when Survivor gets messy and chaotic. Like, that's what makes the show fun and crazy and great. Like you've recently gotten into Big Brother, and there's a reason people tell you like the most aggressively dominant winners of Big Brother win some of the worst seasons of Big Brother because there's nothing interesting going on. There's no intrigue to it because one person's just so clearly running the whole show. Even in Survivor, like Redemption Island, people don't like primarily because it's like, well, yeah, Boston Rob runs everything and then he wins and there's no intrigue, there's no drama really. Because at a certain point, you really just sit there and go, who else is it going to be? And you don't even get that ending payoff twist like you get in like a Samoa where it's like the ending for some redeems it a little bit because all of a sudden you realize, oh, Russell's losing. Ha 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 ha. Like Redemption Island, you get that. But like here, we got the chaos. We got the mess. We got Gabon energy. And I am excited for it. I love my boy band.
We have the merge tribe name.
Oh yeah, Nui Nui.
Yeah, whatever the fuck that means.
I believe it means Nui Nui.
Normally they mean something in Fijian. Oh, it means hope. Okay.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
All right. Would you like to do? Okay, I don't know if you have anything else on the episode. I wanted to do
Not
a power.
particular. Oh, we didn't even mention the episode several drop.
He name dropped Jelinski.
Name dropped Jelinski, which means Jelinski will be coming back on the next returning season. That's a fact. That's science.
It should just be every time someone get his first boot in an even season, they come back in the next odd season. So I need Jelinski to come back in 47.
Okay, wait. Let me see if I can. Because 44, you have Bruce.
Yeah.
But like
42.
Early. 42, you have Jackson.
But you could also get Zach Wurtenberger. Okay, never mind.
This was not intentional. I didn't even know how to
Zach Wurtenberger.
My hands were back up here. But what were we gonna say? What should we do?
Power rankings for the last 10 players for the current 10 in the game.
Ooh, I'm down for this. Okay.
I would say you can do this YLS style.
Yeah. All right. We need to continue bantering though, and we can't just write these down in silence because that makes a podcast.
Anyways, so next week it says in the preview basically nothing besides shit gonna be crazy. I think what's gonna happen is that we're gonna have a major player get blindsided, and I don't know what a major player looks like currently in the game. Maybe Q.
Yeah, it's an interesting scenario.
Yeah.
We're
very vague. It's hard because I think truthfully what's going to happen is Nami could just get picked off one by one because they all hate each other, and it ended up being Siga versus Yanu. Which,
yeah.
Again, Jeff Probst, I know you're watching. A big issue with this format, especially without tribe swaps, is every tribal is talked about and discussed in a way that is based on starting tribes because they don't get a chance to know each other. The journeys don't fucking work. You don't got to sleep next to someone and hear them fucking snoring. You don't build a fire together. There isn't that chance to connect. So when us and the players in the game are referencing everything by original tribal divisions, which is what it is for 80% of the game until like final 6, it's just annoying. So I think what's going to happen is next week Venus is going to go home, and then Tevin right after, and then they start targeting Hunter. Like, it's going to be such a fucking quick turnaround.
I don't even. The season's crazy. I've got my rankings written down. I did very quickly.
Okay. So I'll go first. Number 10, I have Liz.
Liz is
non-factor.
It's no offense to Liz. Liz, like,
full offense. She's rich, fucker.
It is the thing of like from a pure like game knowledge standpoint. Like, you look at Liz, and Liz is playing a decent, like a good if unremarkable game at this point.
Yeah.
But from a TV editing standpoint, who?
Yeah. Number 9, I have Q.
I have him a little bit higher, so we'll wait for that.
Yeah, you have a yikes?
Yeah, yikes.
Okay. And number 8, I have Venus.
That's my 9.
Okay. I do think that she's making big moves. Big movitis is the problem. I don't think she's gonna win, but I give her a slight edge over Q because I think that she's still being given at least somewhat positive attention for her moves. And even though she is coming off like a villain, I think she's playing in a way that if she got to the end and made bigger, better moves, she could garner their respect. It's still hard to see it though.
That's fair. My thing with Venus is just like it's so hard to put her any higher just because like she is the clear biggest target at this point. Where like it's really hard to have any faith in her moving forwards just because the show has kind of made it very clear that no one wants her to keep going. And so like I have more faith in like Venus is a person who I think if she makes it to the end, I have more faith in her to win than a couple people, but I have far less faith in Venus making it to the end than anyone else on this list.
Fair.
There's a world in which there's a world in which logically I could say Venus is 10 below Liz just because like I can see a world in which Liz makes it to final 3. I don't see a path for Venus to do that at this point unless something crazy happens.
I think at a certain point Liz could keep making big moves, people stop listening to her. And then it's just like, hey, you just consistently lost. Why vote? All right, what's your 10 through 8?
So yeah, my 10 was Liz, my 9 was Venus. My 8 is Ben.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Okay. My 7 is Tevin.
I have him in the same range. I have him at 5.
Yeah. Okay. I think Tevin's gonna get targeted. I don't think that he's in a amazing position socially. And it seems to me that he's just, again, it's so little of the game to go off because he hasn't really gone to tribal. I think that he's, what we've seen is him actively trying to make moves and it not going well. Because he tried to push Venus last round and didn't go anywhere. And he tried to push her again this round and it ended up biting him in the ass. I don't know if he's in a great place currently.
I think Tevin is very much like, I think he is playing quite well and has proven to be a good player, but I think he is likely to become a target, and I don't know how I feel about his ability to get the target off his back. That being said, he's been a very proactive player. He's been very involved in what's been going on. And so like Tevin is a person that I can realistically see does still make it to the end and gains a lot of respect from the jury. And plus we as viewers have been seeing quite a bit of him. And so it really makes it sorry, someone in the live chat said something absolutely insane and
I didn't even see that we had that. So as a participant of the show, what aspect?
I don't know what that
I don't know. I think this isn't a Survivor person.
That's fair. Raspberry fate injury benefits a couple of domestic partnership. Tax fraud. If you don't have to pay taxes and you get that sick insurance fraud money, then you can buy a house.
Break the law.
You ever seen to Paul? Have you ever seen Billy Wilder's The Fortune Cookie?
Loser Boom Boom Jackson has.
That is the benefits of doing this. But no, Tevin, I think from an editing standpoint, is fairly present. We had a lot of good strategic content from him. Is playing a solid game, not like horribly under the radar, but yeah, I think he's good.
Yeah. I think he's a player who, if he wants to win, he needs to be more present and kick it into high gear a bit. And now is the time when he has to start. No more.
This is where, like, if your edit isn't kicking in by now, it's too little, too late. Unless your name is Erica Kasupin.
I always say Capuchin in my head, and I know that's incorrect.
Erica Capybara.
Thank you. 6.5 Charlie.
Yikes.
Okay. 5 is where I have Ben.
Yeah.
I think again, I don't think he's like this incredible player. But Gabler won. Some seasons might just want you to have a real cool guy you can shoot the shit with. I think that Ben is loved by his tribe mates. I think he's like a worse version of Cody as well, of just in such a good place socially. No one wants to leave him. Everyone wants to work with him. He can be present in a lot of votes, and as long as people are like, especially if it gets to the end, like let's say it gets to the end with like Liz and Venus, because we're looking at two losing finalists. Someone who's likable, who was on the right side of the votes most of the time, why not? At least that's where I'm at.
That's fair. My big thing is we've been shown time and time again that Ben's inherent likability is threatening to people.
Valid.
People are very threatened by it, and Ben isn't like I have been on the low end in like the opposite way I do to a Venus, where like I can see Ben making it to the end as just like good vibes. I love people. I'm here to be friendly. Makes it to the end, but he's not super active in playing the game, and so I don't think he can garner the respect that a jury wants to win, if that makes sense.
I get it. I disagree, but I understand where you're coming from.
I don't.
Paramount Plus is your best bet. Other than that, it's on most pirating websites.
As far as on Paramount Plus, or there's a lot of sketchy websites that you can torrent it off of if you don't
Makeshift
want.
Shelter actually is important. We talk about that for next week because Hunter built the Spy Shack.
He built a spy nest. He did Winners at War Tony up in a tree.
He's committed. He's playing the best game possible.
I'm trying to figure out if like the person asking this question is thinks that this is like a show about being a survivalist, and like I have no idea.
When I was abandoned in the woods with Bear Grylls, I found
confused.
I found a knowledge is power, and I stole his piss water.
You know, it's something. Who's
Speaking
your
of Hunter? I've been at number 4.
Yikes.
Okay.
So my seven is Q. I have Q at 7. I think he has a moderate amount of longevity in him. I think he's not like the next boot or two, but that's where things get tricky. I think the thing with Q is he has positioned himself in a decent spot to not be targeted by the people outside of his alliance. Like Q is not really the person being looked at and being talked about from the people outside of Yanu. The problem is Q is the person being talked about by Yanu to flip on. Like we and the edit supports this of like Yanu is not super enthused, like Kenzie and Tiffany not super enthusiastic to be working with Q right now. Like,
I think
really isn't.
I think part of the thing with me having Q lower is like eventually he will be seen as a physical threat because like he's built, like he's in great shape.
This is true. He's
not playing a good game socially.
No,
I think he has put a massive target on himself way too soon. He also just again not great socially, and it's just like he's not creating those really strong bonds that the other two are. And I feel like Ben is going to get back and like, hey, Tim went because Q organized the vote, so Siga will want him gone. And then whether or not you believe that Q like threw the challenge today or whatever, I think he's in a bad spot. And I know I compared him to like the Tika 3 earlier. I think the difference there, all 3 had such a huge threat on them, and they knew they had to stick together no matter how much they wanted to vote each other out at any fucking instance. Because every episode was like, oh shit, I have to flip on them now because I fucking hate them with every fiber of my being. I hate being here with them.
Like that's the thing is like Like the best way I can describe Q is like Q is playing too hard, but the people he's playing too hard against don't care. It's the people he's playing too hard alongside that don't want to work with him that much. Like when Q's name starts to come up and he starts to get his name thrown around, the call will be coming from inside the house.
I don't know why you say it, and I think of like Game Changers when they target Ozzy, and WWE comes over like, "Hey, you want to vote him out?" Yeah, sure, okay. Just very blasé about it.
My 6, who presumably will be throwing forward on the list, I have Maria at 6.
Yikes! We literally just swapped our Sega people.
And then I have Tiffany at 4.
Yikes!
Yeah.
So 3, I have Kenzie.
Yikes.
Okay.
3, I have Charlie. We can talk about him now.
Okay.
I think the thing with Charlie here is that Charlie has been shown time and time again to just be able to get out of any situation kind of scot-free. Like, Charlie has proven to be a very solid player who makes social bonds but has a good strategic read, is able to find a way out of being targeted now 2 rounds in a row. I think the edit is giving him a lot of credit for the work that he's been doing and for the things that have been happening around him. He's been present the whole time, even if some of his content is just him naming Taylor Swift songs. But like he's always there. We are always hearing from him and getting his perspective. He's been shown to be a very competent player strategically and socially. And I think he's playing a game that the jury will have a lot of respect for. Like, Charlie is playing an active game, and despite having his name out there repeatedly, has not yet had his name written down and has just snuck through the middle and managed to keep going. There is doubt in my mind of if he could keep doing that over and over again, but I think it's possible.
I think, and I'll use it because so Maria's mine too, so I'll use this to like talk about both of them.
Yeah.
I think the reason I have Maria higher is that I think that from the edits, Charlie is not being a proactive and present game player in the way that she is. And it's not even the way that I think he's under the radar. I think that he is running on pure likability. And while he can, and I think he absolutely does have the ability to be a cutthroat player, I don't think it's going to come out of him. I think that he is too nice. I think that he is too social and not strategic enough in a way that's going to hold him back from really gaining the respect. I think the best way he gets to the end is if he cuts Maria at like fire making or something and is able to take the credit of both of them rather than like if he's next to her, he's fucked. I think Maria beats him 10 out of 10 times. It would require Maria putting in the legwork and then him taking accountability for it at FTC. Other than that, I think Maria is in an amazing place socially. She is fantastic strategically. And I think that we saw on a challenge today, she does pretty well. I think she's an underrated challenge competitor where once we get down to like 6 or 5, when there's less threats around, she can win clutch immunities. I think she's in a fantastic position. Only issue is I think people are going to clock her because Sega are so close that they can't let them get to the end.
And these are my points against Maria. Is number one, I think that the closest of Sega, like from the Yanu conversation we've seen, Yanu is far more interested in taking out Sega than they are in taking out Nami, because Nami is absolutely broken, falling apart, fracturing.
Yeah.
And I think Maria has this hurdle to get over that I hate throwing out there, because I, as a person, don't don't want to believe in it.
This is not true.
But
Like,
historically, it's the thing is Maria has the mom issue. Maria
When
has
has a mom won Survivor? It's not a winning archetype.
it's the issue is Maria has the burden of having to play the game as much as she wants, but if she there's full video essays about this that people have put online. Like if you're the tribe mom, if you're the mom archetype of the season, it's really hard to win because people feel more betrayed by you inherently if you cut them and you play a cutthroat game. I also
lose.
And I do think Maria could also fall into the Julie pitfall from last season of being that of the counter argument to that we had in 45 of everybody loves their mom. If you let the mom get to the end, she's going to win, when that is a historically unproven thing. There's just too many things historically working against Maria, along with an edit that I don't love right now.
That's fair. She is
Like
under edited as well.
where she's very in the background to me, or like in the middle at the very least, and I don't know if that's great.
Hear me out. Women are historically under edited, and this is my personal bias showing. The mom archetype is not a winning one. It needs to be one eventually for it to be a threat. So let's give Maria the win. Because I think the oldest woman to win Survivor is fucking Denise or something, right?
At time of win, that might be.
And
true.
she's like not like the mom archetype. Lisa
No,
fits that better.
Denise was badass.
Yeah.
That was a sex therapist and freaking kicked ass.
Christy Hofbeck is the best performing mom archetype, and she was a villain.
Okay, I'm looking. Tina Weston was 40. Who else?
Oh
could
yeah,
we
Tina was a
be?
mom.
Who else
But that was
could
also
we
season
be
2,
in
so
that
like
area. At the time of Heroes versus Villains, Sandra was 36. Yeah, it really just might be Denise. Pretty. How old was Denise? Denise was 41.
Okay, so I am right.
Yeah.
Okay. You said Charlie was your 2.
Charlie was my 3. We didn't talk about your 3.
No, because my 3 was Kenzie with you. Yeah.
Right, and I jumped that forward. So then I guess we'll talk about my 2. My 2 is Kenzie.
Okay, we have the same one. At least we're good there.
No, we don't.
We don't?
No.
Oh, okay. This will be interesting then. I think Kenzie's in a great place. I think that she is socially doing very well, as we saw with Ben. I think strategically she's in a very good spot unless she gets clocked. And I think that physically she just won immunity. She's in great shape. I think there is nothing holding her back except for the fact that when Nami pulls their head out of their fucking ass, they will see how tight Tiff and Kenzie are. And they have to get one of them. I think Kenzie goes first, but it is so close.
That's fair. I think first things first, Kenzie is getting honestly like a bog standard borderline perfect edit at this point.
I disagree there.
I think for the most part, there's 1 or 2 Banu related incidents where she's getting a less than stellar edit. But like this episode, seeing what her edit is like, I think is so like her edit in this episode is about as perfect as an episode edit one could want is, where we see her being a good, emotionally uplifting person. We see her being a strategic player in the game. We see her talking about winning immunity. We get her at Tribal Council comparing the game to her job, the thing that every winner's edit loves to have.
So
You
why
know,
isn't she your one?
oh my god, this dude in the chat is going fucking bonkers.
Fuck, marry, kill, ayahuasca, piece of PCB heroin.
Dude, I would kill for no.
I would kill heroin. I think PCP would.
I would marry heroin if we had an E to the end because I support strong women.
So you're saying Kenzie is a perfect edit. Why is she not your one?
What?
Why is she not your one?
My biggest thing is I think Kenzie is so primed to be sniped out. Like, I think she's the person who is the front runner, who, if she makes it to the end, she probably wins.
She is going to fire.
The edit informs us of that. But I think, especially with the preview for next episode being taken into account, that like a snipe, an idle play, anything like that can knock her clean out of this game. And she's more at risk. I believe in Kenzie less to save herself when in danger than the person I have at number one. I think the person I have at number one is more likely to be in danger, but I have more faith that they save themselves.
Okay. You said Kenzie was your two, right?
Kenzie was my two.
Okay. Let me tell you why Tiff is my number one.
Did you say Tim?
Tiff.
Tim. He got voted out.
Tiff. Fuck you.
Yes, Tim.
I'm so tired.
It's 1 a.m. for you right now?
It's almost 2 a.m.
Almost 2. Fun.
I need to wake up in 8 hours. My thing with Tiff is I think that she and Kenzie, again, they're best buds, they're best duo. I think they're going very far. They're playing very similar games. Not only does Tiff have an idol, which I think is fantastic. If we're going by the edit and how things are structured, Kenzie, up until Banu's boot episode, has such a open and clear villain edit. Things have changed now, yes. But I think, especially in the new era, where they want these winners to be squeaky clean, I don't think Kenzie is getting that edit. If they give that edit to her and are honest about her, good fucking job. That is dynamic and that is interesting. I think Tiff is getting the better edit while playing a very similar game and having an idol in her pocket. And I think that, honestly, Kenzie might be seen as more of a threat than Tiff is by everyone else. I think Tiff will be seen as more under the radar, even though they're playing very similar, and she will sneak to the end. At the very least, I think she gets targeted in fire making and probably wins.
For more information about supplements like ayahuasca, PCP, heroin, and cocaine, you could go ask questions about them at your local police station. They do have a lot of those. Interesting literature and mandatory minimums.
Well, I think that I feel like police stations have more drugs than most places in America.
It's true. They do have a lot of them there. So if you go in and ask for some,
I'll give them right back. Don't worry.
I'm sure they'll take you in the back. For Tiffany, from my perspective, the biggest thing holding Tiffany back for me is just the edit more than anything. I think Tiffany has kind of been put, but from an edit standpoint, has been put at the back of Yanu in terms of like big main character, where like Kenzie is like bog standard perfect edit main character, and Q is big character playing way too hard, gonna get bounced out of this game, and Tiffany is just kind of hanging back, which, to be fair, I think is also kind of how things are looked at in the game, which is a very good thing for her, where like I think if people start to go after Yanu, Tiffany's not the one being targeted. Plus, she has an idol in her pocket right now, which people keep seeming to forget about. So I think from a game standpoint, Tiffany is in a fantastic position, arguably the best position in the game. It's just a pure edit standpoint that makes me not have confidence in picking her as a winner.
I do like how we have the exact same opinions on Tiffany, but I think that the edit boosts her and you think it hurts her, which I think is just cool as shit.
I just think she's a little too supporting character for me right now.
Okay.
But again, you never know when it's gonna kick in.
Yeah. So tell us why Hunter's your one.
Hunter is my one because I am a white man, and so is he. We did
He's
it.
so hot.
We won. We won Survivor.
So hot.
Progress. No, Hunter's my one because Hunter is getting like prime golden boy edit. Like is getting an edit where the show clearly loves him and we're supposed to love him. We are supposed to be rooting for him. He's great. We see him being social. We see him being strategic. He's in a super solid position right now, having just gotten himself aligned with the Yanus. Where like Q is ready to defend him at a moment's notice. He's part of the six that is now five, which as much as I don't know how long that alliance lasts, it's a solid place to be where I think he's in a very nice fluid central position. The big knock against him is the statement of like he is a very outwardly physical player and that could put a target on his back. My thing is we just got our endurance challenge, which means we're probably going back to a lot of the multi-step challenges that he is going to do great at. And two, he's got his idol still, and no one knows that he has it. Like I think he's in a super solid position, has a great read on the state of the game right now, where he laid it out at Tribal. Nami is falling apart. I will gladly be an open number and join up with Yanu because that's what I need to do to further my position in this game. He is playing actively. He is not the most out in front. His name is not being super duper thrown around, but he's still seen as a threat, which is good for his win equity at the end. I just think that like when balancing the edit and the game, he is the person that I have the highest level of confidence in both.
I think he's just such a big threat. Like
That's
openly,
fair. And
he's just like I think again, he looks amazing. He looks so in shape. Socially, I think he's doing fantastic. He will be the last surviving member of Nami unless he gets sniped and Venus or Liz get taken to FTC as a go. I think that strategically, like you said, he's in a great position. He's gonna get clocked so fucking hard. I think that he can't get the threat off of him unless he fully sinks to the background and then reemerges like an alligator later in the game. It's just going to take a lot, in my opinion, for him to actually get to the end and be successful. I think that he will probably be prime all-stars material and come back and do great again. I don't think he can win because he's in a tough spot.
And my thing, my like little bit of pushback is what I mentioned when talking about Kenzie is I have more faith in Hunter to be able to save himself through winning
That's
immunity,
fair.
through playing his idol, through being able to paint a bigger target on someone else's back than I do in Kenzie. I think Hunter is proving to be very scrappy, but also very able to just win out. Like I think Hunter is comparable to like prime Australia era Colby in just being like
Yeah.
super social, super well liked, can win a ton of challenges and make it to the end. The difference is he's also got the strategic game to back it up. And I think that will suit him really well. I think if he makes it to Final Tribal, it's hard for anyone to beat him. It's just a matter of if he can get there, and I feel pretty good about his ability to get there, and the edit backs it.
That's fair. I will say I'm happy that we're where we're at now. If you asked me to make this power ranking 2 weeks ago, I would have been so upset with you because I was having an awful time with this season.
This is like, I know you love this season.
Samuel Del Sur.
Yes, that is
Yeah,
the
that's what
exact,
you're gonna say.
that's the exact season we're going to compare this to. Where the pre-merge of San Juan Del Sur is dry, it's boring, it's got some terrible people.
The
and then
John
you hit the
Rocker half fight is great content, though.
but then you hit the merge of San Juan Del Sur, and you get 2 boots in a row, and then all of a sudden we're off to the races. And I think that's where we're at now. The only difference is we're not getting a revenge arc. We're just getting a race to the finish line here.
What
I'm
if?
looking forward to it.
Okay, now hear me out. What would you prefer? John Rocker getting yeeted from the game, or Banu having 40 minutes of being mad at God?
Sorry, I'm confused. But if you're asking whether I would want a 40-minute Banu episode, or whether I would want noted racist, sexist, and homophobe John Rocker to not play Survivor, I'm gonna take John Rocker not play Survivor. Didn't I go on this tangent last week where I talked about John Rocker's fake identity? Is the second week we're talking way too much about John Rocker?
No, I think you just talked about it with other people. I don't know if it was on the episode. Oh no, it was because Matthew was here. Right? There's a third
Yeah,
person.
the John Wetland thing.
Yeah.
The absolutely wild, insane fake identity of John Rocker.
I gotta go to bed.
Yeah.
That was the Vibe Spoke. We'll be
Wrapping
back
it up.
next week. Where I'll also be battling insomnia. Let's dance it out. Thank you, Paul, for watching.
Thanks to Paul. We hope your quest